£12. So this is a video that isn't about books. And you may ask what I'm doing, but this is a video I've wanted to make for a little while. I just make videos about things I'm passionate about, and I seem to be most passionate about books, but there are other things I do spend my money on. So the BBC sound effects library had been going since the late 60s and was very popular with amateur dramatics groups, and I know the Railway Sounds one was very popular. Amateur radio, you know, people that record dramas on tape and things. They were popular. And when volume 13 rolled around, Michael Harding, not that Mike Harding, a different one, decided that the 13th one would be death and horror. So Michael Harding worked at the BBC, and one of his colleagues, Ian Richardson, together they sorted out and put out the sound effects records. Together they got a bunch of existing sound effects from the BBC archive, some by the Radiophonic Workshop and things like that, but they realised they didn't have quite enough to fill an LP, so they decided to make some more as well. Now, in many interviews, Ian Richardson famously talks about the mistreatment of cabbages, which is what they kind of attacked and hacked and burned and stabbed in order to create some of these sound effects. Richardson also is quoted as saying, "The results were highly realistic, and we even had some coleslaw left for dinner." The original release of Death and Horror was bafflingly pressed onto red vinyl, but you could only see it was red vinyl if you held it up to a very, very, very strong light. For all intents and purposes, it looked like a plain old black record, which is another lovely touch. But it gets really interesting when the record is released, because we've discussed her a little bit on this channel before. Mrs. Mary Whitehouse got involved. She did not like it. I mean, you can kind of see some of the effect titles were about torture, burning at the stake, dagger thrown into wood. You got like animals, creaky doors, almost like weird piano sounds, and then screams and strangles, lunatics laughing, and then thunderbolts and lightning. Very, very frightening. It wasn't like really harsh, but Mary Whitehouse got involved, and eventually the BBC decided to pull it based on pressure from her. Now, Alan Billiard, who was in charge of BBC Records business affairs, eventually got the go-ahead to put it back on sale, but not without a lot of crazy nonsense from Mrs. Whitehouse. However, with any kind of controversy like this, it has the opposite effect. So after its hiatus, after it was re-released, according to Billboard, the album was selling about 100,000 copies a week. It even became the first ever sound effects album to enter the UK album charts because it was selling so many. So what did this hideous catalogue of atrocities contain? Well, I'll tell you what, let's have a listen. The guillotine. Arm chopped off. Head chopped off. Sawing head off. Leg chopped off. Neck twisted and broken. Arm broken. creaky door closes. Creaky door opens. Heavy creaky door closes. Heavy creaky door opens. So that was 1977. And a sequel had to be produced. It was so popular. So in 1978, they released Sound Effects number 21, More Death and Horror. This was on bright red vinyl and had, it was more like little sound montages. So you got kind of like Vampire Feeding, A Late Night Snack is Good for the Blood, or The Iron Maiden, Not a Political Point to be Seen, Just Sharp Ones. And then they carried on the series. They really went for it with the third one. The third one is Just Bonkers, from 1982, Even More Death and Horror. Again, it's just like bizarre audio gore. So on Volume 3, which is BBC Sound Effects number 27, you get things like drilling into the head, body put into the acid bath, electric fire thrown into bath. And then the last track on side 1 is Involuntary Regurgitation, which is just someone being sick. The second side of the third one is more just like animals, killer bees, dragons, pterodactyls fly in, but you do get the Triffids. You get the Triffids, Sting and the Triffid talking from the BBC Day of the Triffids series, which is fabulous just to have that. They were still produced by Michael Harding, even into the third one. He carried on with them. But I just think they're just like a little fabulous, weird thing. I think it was 2016, the first one was reissued for Record Store Day. And there is it's nostalgic because these, I've got them, but I don't sit and listen to them. But I just love them so much. They're all on YouTube. People have uploaded full recordings of the full album. So if you want to hear the whole things, just get on YouTube, have a listen. Don't have it on too loud, because a lot of them are just screaming and your neighbours might raise a concern. So I'm not going to do loads of videos that aren't about trashy books, but I don't know, maybe you could bob one of these on, grab a Guy N. Smith novel, and it's the perfect soundtrack. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.